Today?
I'm going to be talking to people who haven't flown in a long time, or you may have never flown before. So I just want to explain to you guys how it works nowadays. If you're just a beginner to traveling, now you book things online. There are many travel sites that you can go to, like Travelocity, Cheapo Air, Expedia. There's just a whole bunch of them. You can look up how to travel. Also, all the airlines have their own website that you could book directly with the airline, or you can even call reservations. We still have call centers, most airlines do. And so there's lots of ways to book a reservation. But once you've booked the reservation, there are some things that you need to think about. Nowadays, when you book a flight, so guys, when you book your reservation, just remember that things are a la carte. And if you need to get a seat assignment, or you need to sit next to someone, like you have a child traveling with you and it's important to you, make sure you pay for it when you book the reservation. If you do not, you will end up in a middle seat on day of departure because people are now buying their seats. So, just keep that in mind. Also, there's change fees involved on tickets, so make sure you have the correct date and make sure you have the correct time. So many times I've helped people who thought they were booking 10 a.m. and it was a 10 p.m. flight, and then you get to the airport, at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you realize your flight's not till 10 o'clock at night, and there's really nothing the airline can do if that happens. So just, pay attention. Make sure that you've got what you need. Make sure you read all the rules, the bag fees, and everything so that you are prepared when you get to the airport of what you need to spend. So the day before, now you've got your ticket, and now it's like the day before, you can check in online. Most airlines have a website that you can go in and put your reservation in, and you can check in to get, show that the airline that you're ready to go and that you're checked in. And that's just saying, hey airline, I'm coming. I bought the ticket and I'm coming. So it's good to, check in the day before. And then just make sure you know where you're going. How far is the airport? What's the traffic like? Where do I park? Is somebody dropping me off? Be packed up, be ready to go. Because guys, in the morning when you're ready to go, you need to be at the airport 2 hours minimum. In a big airport. If you're in a small city, maybe an hour, hour and a half, but time is always your friend when you're traveling. So if you can get to a larger airport minimum of 2 hours prior, you're probably going to be fine. You'll need to, once you get to the airport, I'm talking 2 hours from the time you get to the airport and stand in line. So now is the day of departure. You're going to check in at the kiosk. Most airlines now have very limited agents, airport agents. Everything is done by computer now. So you have to go to the kiosk and you need your reservation code, your flight number, you need to know where you're going. It'll ask you some questions. Once you start going through the kiosk process, you need to follow what it's asking you, because it will ask you, do you want early boarding? It might charge you for that. Do you want an upgrade? Well, those are all extra upgrades, and the airlines will ask you, and, just pay attention so you don't end up with a lot of extra charges that you didn't anticipate. It will also ask you how many bags you're checking, and it will tell you what the charges are. That's where you pay for it. Now, every airport is a little different in how they tag the bag. Sometimes they'll tag the bag at the counter. Sometimes you'll get the bag tag right there at the kiosk. So, every airport's a little different. There are agents that are going to be walking around if you have questions, or it's not working, or whatever the case may be, somebody will be there to help you. Once you've gotten your bag tagged, make sure, please guys, this is very important, that your bag tag, what you're putting on your bag has your name on it, going to your destination. I've seen people who grabbed the wrong tag, or the agent actually put somebody else's tag. Well, now your bag's going to Baltimore and you're going to Boston. So just, double check it, make sure it's your bag tag, your name. And then once they'll see your ID. You have to have an ID to travel. A passport has to be a government ID, so it has to be either a passport or a driver's license or something issued by a government. It doesn't have to be U.S. government if you're not a U.S. citizen, but you do need government identification. Okay, guys, so once you're done with that, and then the next step is going through security. And this is a big thing, and some of these airports are very large and the lines are very long. So if you're going to go through security, just remember there's prohibited items that you can't take through security. You can check that out by going to TSA.gov. It tells you prohibited items, but guns, knives, anything explosive, obviously it can't go through security. And if you have some of those things like a gun, you're going to be arrested. So, come on, guys, just make sure that you don't walk through with something that is dangerous to the flying public.
I can't laugh on here. You're just like, guys, leave your guns at home, please. Please leave your guns at home. Do us all a favor.
So, anyway. So once you get through security, though, liquids are less than 3 ounces. They do need to be put into a plastic bag. And all of those things. If you have something that's more than 3 ounces going through any security line, they will confiscate it and they will take it from you. So just be aware of what you can and can't take through security. Okay, so once you've gotten past security and you've gone through the x-ray machines, then that is awesome. So that is one big step, and hopefully you're still about an hour prior to departure at this time, after you get past security. If you're in a large airport, you have to find your gate. So big airports, you might have a bunch of terminals. You might have 5 terminals. Just depends on the airport, like Atlanta or Denver or Los Angeles or Dallas-Fort Worth or Chicago. Those are big airports, guys, and you need to go to your right gate. Many times I've seen people miss their airplane simply because they were not at the right gate. So just make sure that you get to your right gate an hour prior to departure. Make sure that the gate is posted with your flight number going to your destination. Now, you have to understand that some popular destinations, New York, Los Angeles, some places that you're going to, there might be hourly flights. So make sure that you are at the right gate, going with the right flight number, going to the right destination. If you are, then great. You're going to be boarding in about 30 minutes. Depending on the size of the aircraft, it could be in 15 minutes. So just pay attention, listen for commands from the airport agents. They'll be making announcements, and then you're going to start boarding. And guys, this is when we're getting on the airplane. So listen to what the agents are telling you. Every airline does it a little differently, how they board. If you have a question, you can go up and talk to the agent. Sometimes it's really busy, but you're going to board that airplane, and then you might be at the end, if it's a really full flight, they might say, hey guys, we're out of space for your bags, because everybody carries their bags on. And so towards the end of a lot of flights, they're going to run out of space. So they might have to check your bag. So if that happens, if you have medicine in your bag that you have to have, take that medicine out. Make sure you take out your car keys. Make sure you take out, passports. Anything that you absolutely need, you need to bring it on with you. Also, spare lithium batteries can't go in any kind of checked bag. Electronic cigarettes cannot go in any kind of checked bag because it's dangerous to be in the belly of an airplane. So just kind of keep those kind of things in mind when you're boarding the flight. And then once you get on, the thing I want to say is, if you're connecting in an airport, like you've come from a small station and now you're connecting, get over to your connecting gate as soon as possible. Don't stop. Don't have coffee. Don't get food. Go to your next gate. If you have a few minutes, guys, then you can go, but make sure you're at your gate first. I've seen every day people missing their airplanes because they don't get to the gate on time. They close the door 10 minutes prior. They drop your seats 15 minutes prior. Get on, get to your gate. So if you have a reservation and you've been checked in and you've got a seat assignment and it's 15 minutes prior to departure time and you are not on the airplane, you haven't boarded, you haven't gone through and handed your ticket to the gate agent, and you haven't gone through the boarding process, they're going to take your reservation, your ticket that's going to be canceled, and it's going to be given to a standby passenger.
And you don't get your money back for that.
You do not get your money back. You'll be going standby on the next available flight, which they may or may not have, depending on the city you're going to. We're going to talk about that a little more in another episode if you've missed your flight, and I'll go into more detail about what happens if you miss an airplane.
Okay. How heavy can your bag be?
If you're carrying it on, no more than 40 pounds. And guys, you have to be able to pick it up and put it in the overhead compartment. No flight attendant, nobody's going to do that for you. You have to do it yourself. If you're not able to pick up a bag, you need to check it.
How heavy can a checked bag be?
A checked bag can be up to 50 pounds.
So, okay. How can you weigh it before you get to the airport?
You have a scale at home. There's things that you can. We have scales at the airport too. So before you go through, you can try it, or you can just put it on a scale at your house. If you live close to the airport, you're always welcome to come out and weigh it the day before. If you would save the hassle of trying to unpack things at the last minute, because if a bag is overweight and you're trying to check it, it's going to cost a lot of money.
Okay. What do you call new flyers?
A new flyer is just somebody that hasn't been at the airport for probably more than 20 years. Things have really changed. Or you've never flown before. If you've never flown before, there's a lot to understand and how things work now with security and getting on. The flights are very busy. The airplanes are very full, and airports itself are very confusing.
Okay. All right. What's your sign off?
And
IFlyRight?
Yeah, and check us out. We're at IFlyRight.net, and have a great flight.